Honestly, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live" being screamed at me here on Beyonce's internet is the actual spite that I thrived on to write this book. Hi, I'm Mimi, and you might know me as the Feral Southern Housewife over on TikTok or on Instagram, and even on my podcast, and now I'm actually here on YouTube, not just uploading shorts. So thank you so much for stopping by and sitting with me for a minute. Did y'all know I wrote a book? Because I did. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you probably already knew that. But unless you've been living in my walls, I don't think you know the whole story. And it's kind of a really weird, serendipitous coming together of two minds over on TikTok. See, me and my co-writer, Sara, we actually met on TikTok. And then we got together during a writer's call on Patreon, which actually was bonkers that we were both able to do so. Y'all know I have a whole bunch of kids. Y'all know she's got a whole lot of things to do in her life. So we were able to find like an hour or so out of our time. I think it ended up turning into a 2-hour conversation. And we just vibed. It was just a wonderful time. And it was actually in one of those first conversations where we were talking about ideas for the different books that we wanted to write and like how our styles differed so much in how we practiced and what we practiced, that we ended up having this kind of like light bulb moment of like, why don't Christian witches have anything to look to? And she and I kind of were like, well, we're like opposite ends of the spectrum of that whole sphere of Christian witchcraft, of being a Jesus witch. We've got very Catholic influence, tradition. We've got almost ceremonial style magic, and then we've got folk magic, which is very much a make-do cultural blending of Christian themes with the superstitions of the area. And this is not forgetting Miss Valerie Love, who has put out a couple of books and is very active over on YouTube and TikTok. But it felt like we needed more. And it has been almost exactly 1 year from that fateful phone call, that we decided, let's get together, meet for an outline, a timeline discussion, let's talk about ideas and all those things, as a Pisces and Virgo really get together and do. And honestly, that phone call changed my life. So since then, I've really had to put myself under like a microscope, a lot of self-reflection, serious introspection, so that I could ask myself, all right, well, why do I practice this way? Why do I know what this is? How do I explain it to other people? It was never asked of me before to, hey, what are you doing? What do you practice? I've never actually had somebody ask me full on, why do you do what you do? So with all these superstitions and traditions and just the knowing that I had and the practice that I had always had in my life, basically had to be pulled apart. The layers had to be peeled back, and I really had to sit and be self-aware of how that impacted others, as well as having my own personal boundaries. And believe it or not, that brought my faith to a whole nother level. And if you combine that with the books that Sara had found, that she was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Oh my God, read this more. I wouldn't have really thought to look there on my own. You get this process of writing a groundbreaking book that's going to blow the doors wide open on misconceptions and questions that you might have had during your own deconstruction path. Did I just use the word groundbreaking on my own damn book? Yes, I did. And yeah, I did use that word. I truly believe that what Sara and I have written is going to be so pivotal in helping people healing religious trauma, helping people who have questions and they don't know who to ask. And moving forward, my biggest hope is that this book is going to launch more questions that people can safely explore for their own spiritual need. So we are going to look at the mysticism that is prevalent throughout the Bible. And yeah, we call that magic nowadays. We also discuss cultural practices, the things that our ancestors were working on and doing in folk magic. And we take a critical lens to the concepts of Jesus being a witch, practices in the church that make quite a few of us in that spiritual community give a side eye, You know which one I'm talking about. You know that video where we all saw the priest making his own incense and ash and stuff and using it for prayers and things like that, and every single witch I know was like, but we're evil if we do it? Yeah. And we talk about that. And something that thrills my little Libra rising heart is that we get to look at and bring into the light the balance of the divine feminine and the divine masculine. We have a whole section, a whole chapter on the divine feminine, and it thrills me. It's my passion. I love it. If you didn't notice, I have a thing for the divine feminine and Christian faith. We're going to talk about the ways that we found it. We're going to talk about the ways that we connect with it personally and ways that we have divine feminine in our practice. It's so important, and it's honestly my favorite chapter. We also talking about angels and demons too. Yeah. Yep. We explore aspects of angels, demons, the spirits, your ancestors, and no, you don't have to work with them. And no, you don't have to be a Christian in order to work with them if you want to. And whether you know from our content or not, you understand that our goal is to help dispel the narrow ideals that are spread around of like good, angel, light, wonderful, great, and bad, demons, dark, like that's not what this is about. We look at both sides of the coin here in the spirituality and faith of these beings that are essentially just kind of being tossed around nowadays. And you know I'm not going to go without the synchronicities. You know what I'm talking about? We get to examine the liturgical year and the wheel of the year and why some things really work together and how they're different. It's in this book. Really? I'm not even going to go back and edit that out. There's too much to edit at this point. I have been recording or attempting to record for like 3 hours now with all these kids. I'm leaving it in. You guys get to see me be a doofus. So this book, My Pride and Joy, my first book ever, is going to be released March 1st of 2024. That is to the public. That means you can get access to it on Amazon, the shops, everywhere. Pre-orders are still going until then, though. Sara's shop actually has it on pre-order for hard copies right now, and the ebook can be pre-ordered there and on Amazon. But you cannot get the hardcover books until March 1st from Amazon. So we also have something special going on with another creator. Hannah over on Spirituality has paired up with us to make starter witch kits for Christian witchcraft, which I think is going to be really cool. One of the first things is the bloodstone bracelet, which I already wear because I love it and it's one of my favorite things. And then you get the wombo combo of holy oil and holy water, just in case, you know, you feel kind of weird going in and asking the local parish for some holy water and holy oil. So everything in this kit is broom closet friendly. You've got a bell for cleansing if you can't burn incense or candles. You do have 2 little bitty tea light candles in it, and you have a rosary, which actually does come in the rosary actually does come in handy even if you don't really know how to use it, or if you're not Catholic. I still use it as a talisman, you know, and things like that. So you can find a use for it. I know you can. So all the information for how you can order is going to be in the description box down below. I'm going to make sure that Sara's socials are on there, that Hannah's socials are on there, and that you can find where we are on this great big wide internet if you have questions, if you want to know more, or if you're looking to get the book in your own 2 hands. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I'll talk to y'all later.